So in the previous lecture with regard to the concepts of imports under FEMA, we completed basic introduction of governance as the law, governance through authority, and governance through the user and representative being authorized dealer category 1. All those things we completed. Later we came into general guidelines that authorized dealer should check into the know your customer norms. Once after completion of that, requisite details whether they are made available and remittance is for a bona fide transaction or not, he need to check. Later obligations have started. What have started? Obligations. Obligations for whom? Obligations of authorized dealer category 1 who is looking after the whole import transaction. There we came to know in obligation number 1 that the remittance or the particular import, whenever it is made, we need to pay a purchase consideration for that or not. That purchase consideration, whatever we pay, the consideration what authorized dealer has to release, you must utilize that particular amount either for that purpose or for any permitted purpose, no problem. That means FEMA is not strict in terms of making payment only for that purpose. FEMA is strict to check whether the payment is made for a permitted purpose. I have also shown you some examples. Okay, once after completion of that, the next issue that we started is obligation to being evidence of a import. Means what? Means I made the release of a foreign exchange to the importer. What is the guarantee that really the importer has utilized that foreign currency for that quantum of import? Therefore you need to give two details. First one, you imported, evidence of an import. Second one is checking a balance equilibrium between the amount released for import and the payments that you made really. Okay, that also we completed. Mode of payment, any mode, a logical mode and legal mode of payment you can use. Along with that, you can also use international cards, either debit or credit card. If your account is already having a good amount of rupees, I will convert that into dollars and I will pay. What's wrong? Or if you are already having a foreign currency account in India, pay through that, no issue, through a normal banking channel. Or you can also use a credit card. Credit card means what? Once you write a counter slip to the charge slip to the bank, bank will release that amount from your credit card. That means you need to fill certain details, not like normal payments you make through credit card. Procedure will be something complicated because it's a foreign exchange payment. Na? First you need to create a charge slip signed and sent to the banker. That banker, through your credit card number, he will release the finance to that outside party such that the transaction will get completed. So that mode of payment is also over. Now we are coming into the last fourth important obligation of a importer. Okay, listen carefully. Technically the concept what I am going to discuss now in obligation 4 is not with respect to importer. General guideline of release of foreign exchange is considered here. I said you at the beginning of import guidelines itself, though the guideline master direction uses the word import, all the concepts inside does not include totally the goods and services import. It also includes certain other activities inside. Since it is a master direction given to authorized dealers, government didn't stop talking only about imports. It also said certain other aspects extraneous to imports. Therefore, this obligation 4, I call it as a miscellaneous obligation. I will not call it as an import obligation. I will call it as what? Miscellaneous obligation. Everyone listening to the lecture, please put it in your brain. Fourth obligation is not directly connected to import. It is a miscellaneous obligation. No way connected with import sometimes. Sometimes. Okay. What are they? Let's try to understand now. See here. See, obligation 4, other modes of payments that are allowed. Other modes of payment that are allowed. Any person resident in India, PRI, may also make payment as under. May also make payment as under. That means he can make the payment. I am using the word payment. I am not using the word investment. I am using the word payment. Okay. Payment can be made in the following way. Okay, in what way? In rupees. That means there is no release of foreign exchange. There is no release of foreign exchange. Okay. other modes of payment that are allowed. Any person resident in India may also make a payment as under. Okay. In what? In rupees. Towards what? Meeting some expenses. That means you are paying in rupees for some expense. Expense for what? On account of a boarding. Okay. Lodging. Services related thereto means services related to boarding and lodging. Travel. Travel to India from some other place or from India to some other place within India. All the three are allowed. Some person came USA, India. To India, bear expenses. From India, bear expenses. Within India, also you can bear the expenses. That means first point is, so leave about my gestures and body language, but one thing you need to understand. USA, India. Come to India. At that time, your expenses I will bear in India in rupees. That is also allowed. Am I clear or not? You may ask a question, sir. That person is ready to come to India. This person is ready to bear expenses. Why law has to interfere? Rare common sense should be there, na? Why law need to interfere? If really you didn't do this, he would have brought foreign exchange and converted into rupees in India for all these things, na? I am losing foreign exchange or not because you bearing the hospitality and other lodging and boarding. Because of the government is losing foreign exchange or not. For example, I am a USA citizen or I am a US resident. Okay, I am coming to India on a visit. For example, okay, I am coming on a visit to India. I want to visit some places in India. Now I would have carry with me travelers checks and dollars with me. I would have come here. I would have given dollars to the banker. I would have converted into rupees and spent. That means government is getting the increase of foreign exchange reserves or not. Because of you bearing his expenses in rupees in India, we are losing foreign exchange or not. That's why government want to interfere. What import is there in this? Import is not there. That's what I told you. Import guidelines, though they really talk about imports, but totally guideline or direction is not talking about import. Certain other concepts also merge inside. That creates confusion in the student community. That I want to clear here. Clear everyone? So therefore, first thing, person resident in India is bearing the expense of a person resident outside India coming to India on a visit. All the conditions have to be satisfied. Which expenses you need to bear? Boarding, lodging, connected to boarding and lodging, travel to India, travel from India, okay, travel from India and within India, okay, travel to India. Whatever you have spent, I will give you back. Whatever you need to spend to go back, I will bear that cost. Within India, you will bear many costs. I will bear all those things. You can do that? Yes, you can do that. Next issue. Payment can be made by a PRI by means of a crossed check. Crossed check means, I think you know what is a negotiable instrument. Crossed check means you can pay only through that account. Not through the counter, you can't take the cash. Account to account dealing should be made. Okay, that crossed can be normal crossed or account payee crossed check. Okay, anyway, I'm not here to talk about negotiable instruments and go back to IPCC and explain everything. Okay, so by means of a crossed check or a draft means a DD as consideration. Okay, consideration for what? Purchase of what? Gold or silver in any form. What do you mean any form? It may be raw gold and raw silver. It may be ornamental form. Am I clear? Okay. Imported by such a person. Okay. In accordance with the terms and conditions imposed under any order issued by the central government under the foreign trade development regulations or any other law in the timing in force. Chattanta tisane. Scrap, leave off. Main thing is up to here we need to read. I am taking all these things out. Now read. Read from here to here. Enough for the exams. A person, from here we need to read. Any person resident in India may also make payment as under. May also make a payment by means of a crossed check or a draft as a consideration for purchase of gold or silver in any form imported by such a person. So by means of a crossed check or a draft as a consideration for the purchase of gold or silver in any form imported by such person, okay, listen carefully. So one small note point we need to have here. One point is missing here. Payment will be made through mode of payment for the import will be made through international card. All these things are said. Second point is also there. By mistake it was not printed. Write down. After this, another bullet point you need to keep and write down. Any other mode prescribed by RBI, like DDs, account through account transfer, everything is allowed. Okay, electronic transfers, everything is allowed. By mistake that point was not printed here. Any other mode prescribed by RBI. In the brackets you can write electronic transfer, comma, foreign exchange DDs, etc. Many modes are there. Okay, account through, many modes. Okay. Obligation 4 is a miscellaneous obligation not directly linked to imports. Here, if you can observe, payments are made in rupees, already completed. Even here, my friend is coming from Dubai to India. At the time he is coming to India, he brought gold biscuits and silver ornaments. Okay, and he is not gifting me, he is asking some money. Now for that import made to India, you can pay money in rupees via crossed check or a draft. Am I clear? That's the second one. Next, third one is applicable to whom? A company or a resident in India may make payment in rupees. If you can observe, in all these three cases payments are made in rupees. Okay, that's why I say this is a miscellaneous case. A company or a resident in India may make payment in rupees if the following conditions are satisfied. If what are satisfied? Following conditions are satisfied. Condition 1, payment is made to non-whole time director, any person other than non-whole time director who is a resident outside India. That means payment should be made to a person resident outside India who is not a non-whole time director in that company. Okay, such a person is on a visit to India for the company's work. Okay, he is entitled to the payment of sitting fees or commission or remuneration and travel expenses to and from within India in accordance with the provisions contained in the company's memorandum or articles or agreement or resolution passed in general meeting or by the board of directors. Okay, first I will give time for you to read. First read this, after that we will make some comments on this. Okay, complete. First read the point clearly. Shall we continue? Now, what are the conditions? Payment is made by a company. Payment is made in dollars or in rupees? In rupees. How many conditions are there? 3 conditions. In institute material, this was given as a paragraph. I broken that into 3 easy conditions to understand. Please listen. Condition 1, payment is made to non-whole time director. That means payment is not made to a whole time, other than whole time director you need to make the payment. Sir, why not to the whole time? Whole time director will be in the employment for whole time in the company. It is your duty to do the company's work. For that we will not bear any payment. So first thing is condition 1, there is a PROI who is a director of the company and he is a non-whole time director. Okay, This person must be on company's visit to India. He came to India. Okay. That person should be entitled to sitting fees, travel expenses reimbursement, either to India, from India, or within India. Who authorized his payment? Payment must be authorized either by MOA or by AOA or resolution passed in a general meeting or resolution passed by the board of directors. First they have to approve that payment. If they approve, you can make the payment of his entire visit. That means you can make the payment to that particular non-whole time director. So you can pay that in which currency? Rupee currency you can pay. He is entitled to sitting fee, commission, remuneration, travel expenses, everything you can make the payment in terms of rupee, provided all the payments are authorized by either by company MOA or AOA or GM resolution or board resolution. Clear everyone? And that is subjected to the other rules like TDS deduction, income tax will get attracted, service na GST reverse charge may get attracted, Companies Act la many sections may get attracted. Complying with all those things, comply also with the FEMA guidelines. That's the idea behind this particular concept. Everyone had the clarity up to here. So now we completed all the 4 obligations of a authorized dealer. Next one, time limit for settlement of imports. What is the concept? Time limit for settlement of imports. Okay, time limit for settlement of imports. What does it mean? What do you mean by time limit for settlement of imports? Okay, see here, within what time we need to make the payment on imports? 99% this question will be asked in exam. Chance is there. Mark this, very important for this whole imports concept. Okay, from there it starts. Okay, it will end up to this particular point. Am I clear? Up to here it will be. So everything is very important for the exam, so please listen carefully. So first one, time limit for settlement of imports. In terms of extant regulation, not extent, extant means existing. In terms of extant regulations, remittances against imports should be completed not later than 6 months from the date of shipment, except in cases where amounts are withheld towards the guarantee of performance, etc. AD category 1 bank may permit settlement of import dues delayed due to disputes, financial difficulties, or etc. However, interest, if any, on such delayed payments, usance bills or overdue interest is payable only for a period of 3 years from the date of shipment. Read once. Take a minute time. Read it properly first. So see here, time limit for the settlement of imports. Let us read the concept once again. Let us read entire issue up to here. Okay, once after completion we will make the discussion on the concept. After that we will be writing each and every part. I will be discussing in parts. After that I will give you time for you to copy the chart. At that time you can copy. Okay, so properly listen first. Very important for the exam. Very important. Not even a single word we can miss here. Listen carefully. In terms of existing regulations, also called as extant regulations, remittances against the imports should be completed not later than 6 months from the date of shipment, except in cases where amounts are withheld towards the guarantee of performance. Okay. AD category 1 bank may permit settlement of import dues delayed due to disputes, financial difficulties, etc. However, interest, if any, on such delayed payments usance bills or overdue interest is payable only for a period up to 3 years from the date of shipment. Date of shipment is also called as a date of remittance of goods. Okay, so anyway, let us now try to understand. Date of import is also called as a date of remittance, is also called as date of remittance. Okay, listen carefully to the point now. First thing is, generally we have to make the payment within a period of 6 months from the date of shipment. 6 months from the date of shipment, payment should be made within a period of 6 months. Okay, now listen carefully. Point is, I will receive the goods in parts. For example, there is a very big machinery. That machinery will be sent in parts to India. Okay, we have to attach here and then we need to start operations. Machinery will be attached in a period of 8 to 10 months. Okay, will be attached in a period of 10 months or 6 months or 5 months, whatever the case may be. They are sending machinery parts as and when they are completing it. Whenever it comes to India, I will release the funding. This is the idea. Main point here is, what is the guarantee that you will really send worthy machinery to me? You sent machinery to me, I will use that machinery. Once after using the machinery you sent to me, if really output comes as per the estimated quality, then making payment to you will have some making a sense. That means whenever you send machinery to me without using and without making a finished product out of it, how can I confirm to make a payment to you? Therefore, as a guarantee of performance, we will withhold some amount. That means if you withhold some amount with you, as per the agreement, whenever importer and that exporter enter into agreement, at that time itself we entered into agreement saying that this amount will be kept as a withheld amount as a guarantee for performance or similar arrangements. That amount you have to release as per the agreement. It may be even beyond 6 months, but the amount which is not withheld, you need to pay within 6 months. Repetition once again. Imports can be of two types. Imports are not subjected to guarantee of performance withheld price. Imports are subjected to withheld. If it is not subjected to withheld 6 months, if it is subjected to withheld, every amount, every rupee, every dollar or a rupee you can't withhold. Some 10% or 15% you will withhold. Remaining 80 you have to pay or not. That paid amount should be paid within 6 months. Remaining you have to pay as per the agreement. Once you really feel that performance is completely made, then you have to release the withheld amount. Clear? Okay. Sir, extension will be given. Extension, whether it will be given or not, listen carefully to the point. Before we come to the extension, read this point. There are delays due to two particular situations. Delay which is due to disputes. I asked one quality, you sent another quality, dispute is running. Or financial difficulties, best classic example, COVID. It is universally acceptable that financial difficulty arises to everyone. In such case, go to the authorized dealer and ask for an extension. He may give 1 year extension or 2 year extension or 5 year extension, whatever you want. But because of not paying the import proceeds on time, that exporter might have put some penalties and interest on overdue amount or not. That payment I can't extend beyond 3 years from the date of shipment. 3 years from the date of shipment. I can't extend beyond that. I can't extend beyond that. That means which, how many years? 3 years. But original import dues will be there, na? That import dues will be permitted to be extended for such a period as authorized dealer category number 1 bank deems fit. No period specified here, don't get confused. 3 years is for interest, delayed payments, overdue interest, etc. Not for original import due. Import due delay will be given by the authorized dealer category 1 bank with the discussion with exporter. So you can't fix that. No law can fix that. Point completed. Sir, no sir, my delay is not because of financial difficulty, etc. But normally only I am asking the extension. In that case possible? Yes. Authorized dealer category 1 can consider granting extension of time for settlement of import dues up to a period of 6 months at one time, maximum of 3 years, irrespective of invoice value for the delay on account of disputes, non-fulfillment, financial difficulties, or filing a suit, irrespective of any other case. Normally, can I ask for extension? Yes, you can ask for extension. For how many months? 6 months at a time and maximum 3 years. Am I clear or not? 6 months at a time and maximum 3 years. Okay. Sir, what do you mean 6 months at a time? That means maximum extension is 3 years. Maximum extension is 3 years. But 3 years directly I can't give. I will give in bits and pieces of 6 months each. Okay. That means 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, and 6 months. Okay. So this is the situation. Am I clear or not? So total period 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Okay. Totally this will be the total period I will give you to make the import payment. Okay. Am I clear or not, everyone? So the main thing that you need to consider here is maximum will be 3 years divided into 6 months each. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 months will be there. Na? So totally you need to take. Now everyone will get a doubt. Kaushik Mukesh doesn't know mathematics. 3 years will contain 6 months periods, but he is writing 7. I am not a mad fellow. Okay, listen carefully. First 6 months anyway, without delay or with delay, 6 months is common. This is extended time, 3 years, not from the original date of import. Anyway, I will give you a time for 6 months or not. I have taken that 6 months as well. That 6 months plus 6 months time I will give again. 3 years, 6 months is a real time period from the date of making the import or a shipment. Okay. I will read better way the particular law that is being drafted. You need not worry. But one point you need to consider. 3 years from what date? 3 years from the date of shipment you will give a extension will be given for 3 years. What is the extension for the 3 years? First 6 months anyway I will give you with or without delay, whatever the case may be. From there I will start extension. Extension will start once the original time period is completed. From that date I will give 3 years extension in 6 months bits and pieces of 6 each. Am I clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are extension. This is the original period. Okay. Irrespective of any condition. This is important. Very, very important for the exam. He can ask this question. In case of certain items, separate sector guidelines are applicable. Separate set of guidelines applicable as issued by RBI. Like examples I am telling. Rough diamonds, cut diamonds, polished diamonds. Okay, in such case examples are these. Some materials are there. These materials are governed by a separate sector. Which sector governs the diamonds, etc.? There is a separate market for them called as a metals and other bullion market. That particular sector defines the extension of time period. For that, this 3 years, 6 months each, all these concepts does not apply. RBI will decide what is the extended time. Authorized dealer has no right to extend. Clear, everyone? So in these cases, let's see the point that was missing here. Sir, we completed this issue. But this is still there. There is another concept called as a deferred payment arrangement. Sir, what is deferred payment arrangement? Deferred payment arrangement means I will pay after so many number of months or years. Like that they will tell. That means at the time of import itself, I said, I will not pay even a single dollar today. I will pay everything after 2 years. Like that I can tell. So deferred payment, how can you give the time limit of 6 months? 6 months will be possible if I want to pay. I don't want to pay. I want to defer my payment with arrangement with the exporter outside India. In such case, maximum deferred payment arrangement should not exceed 5 years. Clear, everyone? Next, duties of authorized dealer category 1 bank while granting the extension. While granting extension, authorized dealer category 1 bank have some duties. How many duties you have? 4 duties are there. Okay, first thing, the import transaction, what transactions are the current existing import, whatever the goods you are importing, that transaction should not undergo investigation. Should not undergo what? Investigation. Investigation by whom? Either Enforcement Directorate by RBI or by Central Bureau of Investigation CBI. Any other investigating agency should not conduct investigation not on importer, on that imported transaction. That transaction is containing certain smuggled goods. It is under investigation by the Enforcement Directorate, and it is also investigation by Narcotics Department. At that time, this extension granting will not be possible since it is under investigation. Second, these are all cumulative. All the conditions are to be satisfied. Second one, if you are extending beyond 1 year from the date of remittance, means import, okay, that means 6 months anyway will be given, okay, 6 months anyway will be given from the date of import, 6 months time, another 6 months 1 year, that means 6 months anyway will be given, another 6 months extension will be given. Beyond that, that means other 5-6 months will be there. If you want extension beyond that, the total amount due to that particular exporter by this importer should not exceed $10 lakhs or 1 million or 10% of average import payments during preceding 2 financial years, whichever is lower. Mark it important. Practical question will come in examination on this. Mark it important. Definitely question will come in exam. Either on MCQ or either on a normal theoretical question will come. Pakka question will be there on this area. Please listen again. I repeat. Whenever you make an import, anyway I will give you a 6 months time to pay. Beyond that, you can ask for extension for 6 times. 6 months each. First 6 months will be there. Now further this condition will not apply. If you want from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th 6 months time extension is there. That means beyond 1 year from the date of import. In such case, the amount outstanding to that party shall not exceed $1 million or 10% of total remittances, average import remittances during 2 preceding financial years. Whichever is lower, take that amount. If it is exceeded, time will not be given beyond 1 year. If that is lesser than that, I will give further 6 months time. Lastly, authorized dealer will have the document or not, extension document. In the remarks column, write clearly how much time you want to extend, and clearly IDPMS should be updated with the bill of entry. That means update IDPMS with this particular extension given. This is only just a procedure. So up to here everyone had the clarity. So I made a chart on this to make everyone understand the issue. See here. Follow the chart properly. More than enough for the exams. Time limits for extension. General time limit. Normal case. Okay, normal case time limit with withheld amount as a guarantee of performance. Balance not withheld to be paid within 6 months. Withheld now you have to pay according to the agreement to withhold. Normal case being amount not withheld, no guarantee of performance, etc. Total amount to be paid within 6 months. Deferred payment na maximum 5 years. Extension due to disputes, due to any other reason. If it is due to disputes, import value extension as decided by AD Bank with respect to any other payment, interest, penalties, etc. maximum 3 years. Due to any other reason, at a time, maximum 6 months, maximum 3 years. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Okay, this 6 months will have an importance. General time period. Okay, next. After that, duties. 4 duties are there. First, import transaction is not under investigation by ED or CBI or any investigating agency. Extension sought if it is for less than or equal to 1 year from the date of import, condition does not apply, no problem, you can directly ask for the extension. More than 1 year from the date of import, the total outstanding of the importer shall not exceed, okay, I forgot to put the symbol, shall not exceed $10 lakh or shall not exceed 10% of the average remittances in the 2 preceding financial years, whichever is lower. And next one is just a document to be reminder. Extension to be noted in the remarks column, update IDPMS with the bill of entry. Clear everyone? So please make a note. So the next concept, import of foreign exchange or Indian currency. Import of foreign exchange or Indian currency. So listen carefully to the point. Okay, anyway, if time is not sufficient to write the previous chart, at least go back and pause the video and write. Okay, let's continue. Import of foreign exchange or Indian currency. They use the word foreign exchange Indian currency. Okay, Indian currency means a currency which is denominated in INR. Foreign exchange, a definition, first definition in FEMA we read that. Foreign exchange means a foreign currency and includes deposits, credits and balances payable in foreign currency, drafts, travelers check, letters of credit, bills of exchange, expressed or drawn in Indian currency but payable in foreign currency, or expressed or drawn in foreign currency and payable in Indian currency. Everything will be a foreign exchange. Yes or no? So listen carefully. First thing, no person shall without a general or a special permission of RBI import or bring into India any foreign currency. Foreign currency means a currency which is expressed or drawn in any currency other than Indian currency. See here now. Import of foreign exchange into India. He didn't use the word foreign currency here. Foreign exchange. What do you mean foreign exchange? It can be deposits, credits, balances payable, bills of exchange, anything. If you want to import, that means send to India, you can, no problem. A person may send to India, bring into India. What do you mean bring into India, send into India? So send into India means I am in USA, I am sending, okay, I am here, I am sending. Bring into India means I will also come. Both are different. Person is also coming here, here person is not coming. Send into India. What is the limit? Without limit he can send any foreign exchange, but it should be in any form other than currency notes, bank notes, travelers checks. Okay, simply physical cash and travelers checks should not be brought to India. In a box I cannot bring $1 lakh. Am I clear? But I can bring into India in the form of bills of exchange, etc. Whatever the limit, whatever you want. Okay, send into India. I am sitting here, I am sending some foreign exchange. You can send in the form of a deposit. That means from one account to another account you can import. Am I clear? Other than in the form of currency notes, bank notes and travelers check, I am sitting here and I can send to India. Second one, I am in US, I am bringing into India Foreign exchange. Foreign exchange. Other than unissued notes. Unissued notes means a blank notes will be released by the US Treasury in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they are making the printing of dollar notes. There they will announce that I am going to issue a note, but it is still unissued. Okay. So, bring into India from any place outside India without a limit. Without limit. Limit is not there. Any foreign exchange. Here, foreign exchange can be even in the form of currency notes, bank notes, etc. Am I clear? Bank notes and currency notes both are same. In India, rupee note is called as a currency note. Okay. Rupee note is called as a currency note. And this particular, other than rupee note, starting from 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20, 50, 100, 500, 2000. All these are called as a bank notes. All these are called as what? Bank notes. Why they are called as bank notes? Why these are called as currency notes? Listen carefully. Currency notes la signature will be made by the concerned finance ministry person will sign. But bank notes are released by RBI. From 2 rupee notes ending with 2000 note, signature will be made by the governor of RBI. Signature will be made by the governor of RBI. But 1 rupee note, signature will be made by the concerned finance ministry person. That person will make a signature there, not the RBI governor. For 1 rupee note. 1 rupee note is a currency note released by the central government. Bank notes are released by RBI. That's why they are called as a bank note. What do you mean bank note? Reserve bank note. That's how the name came. Okay. But both are physical currency notes only. No issue. So currency notes or bank notes are traveler's check. Traveler's check is a check which is kept as a safety. Whenever you go on travel with any other country, I am going to Dubai. Traveler's check I can ask. I will give you, for example, I will go and give, for example, 70,000 rupees. Let's say dollar is 70. I will go to an exchange dealer and I will give 70,000 rupees. He will give me a dollar traveler's check worth 1,000. That means when I go to USA, I can use that and I can endorse my payments. Am I clear? So that's a traveler's check. That means you can send it to India or you can bring it to India without any limit. But in the first case, I will not allow physical holding. But here I will allow even physical holding. But there are some regulations. Bringing into India means what I said. I am coming to India. When you come to arrival in India, declare to the customs authority at the airport itself. In the currency declaration form, declare currency declaration form. What you need to declare? The aggregate value of foreign exchange in the form of currency notes, bank notes or traveler's check brought by such a person at any one time does not exceed US dollars 10,000. That means aggregate of currency notes, bank notes and a traveler's check at any one time does not exceed $10,000. So currency notes, bank notes and traveler's check aggregate put together is not exceeding $10,000. You need to give a declaration. Am I clear? Next, aggregate value of foreign currency notes. Okay, that means all the foreign currency notes you bring from other country into India shall not exceed $5,000. $5,000. Total not exceeding $10,000 and this not exceeding $5,000. Sir, you said you can bring without any limit. Yes, you can bring without any limit. If you are not crossing these limits, declaration also not required. Am I clear? Or else declaration is required if you are bringing more than this. Clear everyone? Next, import of Indian currency. Sir, I am Indian, sir. Why I will import Indian currency? Sir, here import does not mean any kind of normal import you learnt at your childhood. Import means bringing into India. That's all. I went to a visit outside India. Okay, temporary visit outside India. Okay, as a safety I hold some rupees. With how much rupees I can come back? Other than Nepal and Bhutan, you can come back with the amount not exceeding 25,000 rupees. from Nepal and Bhutan, you can bring as much amount as you want, because that is also India, but only in the denominations up to rupees 100. Means you can hold 1 rupee, 2 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees and 100 rupees. That's all. Any denominations you can hold whatever the amount you want. Okay. So this is completed, this is completed, and these points are also completed. So import of foreign exchange is also over. Last concept before we close this concept called as imports regulations. Okay, see here. Issue of guarantees by an authorized dealer. Okay, sir, authorized dealer can also it is a bank. Authorized dealer is a bank. Bank can give the bank guarantees or not. I am an importer, I have to make the payment to a foreign exporter. Bank will stand in the middle as a guarantor. Can it? Yes, it can do. How? Easy concept. Don't get messed with the paragraph length that was used. Nothing will be there. Listen carefully. An authorized dealer may give a guarantee in respect of any debt, obligation or any liability incurred by PRI and owed to PROI as an importer in respect of import on deferred payment terms. That means you can have a deferred payment terms for 5 years or not. Yes. Okay. PRI is an importer. PROI is an exporter. Bank stands as a guarantee for the deferred payment. I said after 3 years or after 2 years I will make the payment. What is the guarantee that really you will make the payment? I am sending the import goods today itself, and you will make the payment on a deferred payment basis after 2 years. Maximum 5 years now, I will pay after 2 years. What is the guarantee that you will make a payment? Bank stands as a guarantee with the approval of RBI. Next, an authorized dealer may give guarantee, letter of undertaking, mean letter of credit, also called as a guarantee. Am I clear? Letter of undertaking of letter of comfort in respect of any debt, obligation or any other liability incurred by PRI with a PROI. Am I clear? With a PROI, being an overseas supplier of a goods or a bank or financial institution for import of the goods as permitted by the foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy. Okay. So what is the difference between the first one and second one? First one is a normal guarantee given. Second one is a letter of credit that was given. Letter of credit concept, I will make a lecture separately on that, not applicable for exams. Therefore, I just don't want to waste your time by explaining the flow of letter of credit. Letter of credit, like 8 parties will be involved. How many? 8 parties. Importer, exporter bank, obligation bank, settling bank, 8 persons will be involved. Unnecessary waste of time to explain at this point of time. Anyway, you will learn that in your SFM, in the foreign exchange chapter. Without understanding what is the letter of credit, we can't do some problems, na? So therefore, letter of credit, if time permits, I will explain in another video. I don't want to waste the time and deviate the issue from foreign exchange concept. ECB hedging concept you need to understand. Therefore, I brought and imported some concepts of SFM into that. But still here, without understanding letter of credit also, you can understand this concept. Listen and understand letter of undertaking or letter of comfort means it is also a concept. But that is not a guarantee, that's a security. Bank stands as a surety. If he don't make the payment, I will make the payment. Am I clear? An authorized dealer may give guarantee or a security in respect of a debt or obligation of a person resident in India and owed to a person resident outside India, being a overseas supplier of a goods or a bank or financial institution also. Short-term credit they are giving. For that also I can stand as a guarantor, provided it is permitted by foreign trade policy and it is as per the terms of Reserve Bank. Authorized dealer may, in the ordinary course of his business, give a guarantee in favor of a non-resident service provider. Service provider. PROI is a exporter of service on behalf of resident customer who is a service importer, subjected to such conditions. What is the subject to conditions? No guarantee for an amount exceeding. No guarantee. Again, read this. Authorized dealer, in the ordinary course of business, give a guarantee. Guarantee. Transaction between whom and whom? PRI, service importer, PROI, service exporter. This person will give a service and this person has to make the payment. Bank stands as a guarantor. Okay, for that. No guarantee for an amount exceeding $5 lakh or its equivalent shall be issued on behalf of service importer other than public sector company or department or undertaking of government of India or state government. Government undertaking, no problem. But if it is a normal other than a government undertaking, not exceeding $5 lakh, where service importer is a public sector company or any other, Am I clear? Where service importer is a public sector company or a department or undertaking of the government of India, no guarantee for an amount exceeding US dollar 1 lakh or its equivalent shall be issued without prior approval of Ministry of Finance. That means if it is on behalf of any other public sector company or a department of a government or state government or a central government, in such case US dollar 1 lakh you can pay whatever you want. Beyond that, take the approval of Ministry of Finance. Sir, government amount should increase now. Why it is decreased, sir? Here beyond $5 lakh you can't pay. Here you can pay even $1 crore, but with the permission of ministry, he is telling. That's all. Mark this important third question that can be asked in exams. So this is all about the completion of the concept called as imports under FEMA. That is also completed. So all the new concepts are over. Imports completed, ECB completed, ODI completed. So everything is over. Am I clear? Anyone, if you want the material copy PDF, please come to the Telegram channel Kaushik Law and SFM. You can find the material there. So Telegram channel is there. Please come there. You can find the material in this particular Telegram channel Kaushik Law and SFM. So in this channel you can find the material with regard to all these concepts, and not only these, many material PDFs were freely available over there. If you want, you can take it. And anyway, import concepts are also completed with this. Okay, so learning objectives are 8 divided into 5 different questions. Basic introduction over, general guidelines over, time limits completed, extension completed, import of foreign exchange, foreign currency and Indian currency and currency notes and guarantees. All the concepts which are applicable for the exams are over. With this we completed the concept of imports under FEMA. Thank you.